This video will have two sections, one where I am going to review Heartbound and another where I will briefly talk about some weird things about this character guy, quote-unquote pirate software, and some stuff people have been digging out about him. I'm going to clarify that I don't have anything against the guy, I don't hate him and I barely know him. I wasn't planning to make a review of this quote-unquote game because I had no more interest in Thor in pirate software. Aside from his opinions about the Stop Killing Games initiative, I was just going to leave things like that, but apparently the fanatics of this guy started coming in droves due to my video exposing his obvious bias against Rose and the initiative, so they started to get into my nerves. So you have only yourselves to blame for what is about to happen, guys. I'm sorry, but it is coming. I don't remember when I first knew about pirate software. I think it was when he was playing Palworld, and at the time I didn't think of him that much. I thought his stream was chill, nothing else. Soon I found out that he is a developer and that he was making a game, Heartbound, and I kinda liked the art style and what he was explaining about what it was going to be. So I wishlisted it and forgot about it. I did so that in some of his streams he was doing something to the game, but like I said, I never thought too much about it. I did some research on the guy, and now that I know more about him, well, I now have a lot of thoughts on him and the veracity of anything this guy says or does. More on this after the review. I will have a section explaining all of this. His opinion on the Rose video and the behavior of his fanatics actually made me start to dig a bit more, and I found out that Heartbound has been in development for almost 6 years, and let's be honest, it's more than that because he released the game on early access on the 24th of December of 2018, and the game should have had something already to be released as early access, right? You cannot release a hello world screen and say it's an early access game. Now, without further ado, let's go and see what is this game all about. Let's talk about the good about this game. Like I said already, I like the art style. I think it looks great. I think it looks appealing. I like the pixel graphics. These days I appreciate more this type of graphics than the typical slop quote-unquote realistic graphics that Unreal Engine farts out. The only combat encounter in the game, quote-unquote game, is actually very entertaining. It seems like the premise is to have a system similar to Mass Effect or those who play Knights of the Old Republic, where you have two systems, the Paragon and the Renegade side of things, and in the case of the Star Wars game it was the light or the dark side of the Force. So that looks like an interesting system, for me at least. Now, I can't judge a game for what is going to be in the future. I judge it for what it is now, and right now this isn't even a fucking game. So let's go with the bad. This thing has cringe writing, seriously. The theme of this story seems to be all about complaining for past Thor experiences in real life. So yes, the protagonist looks like he's a self-insert. There is an entire chapter, quote-unquote chapter, with a day job theme that it's so fucking boring. I was literally falling asleep, and this is the only chapter that is complete in the game, no joke. All of the writing and the dialogue sounds like pretentious crap. The humor, quote-unquote humor of the game is very cringe. It's typical Reddit humor, so you can imagine the cringe shit you are going to find in the game. There is only a prologue, chapter 1, and like half of chapter 2, probably a bit more, and don't think about chapters like these fucking hours of gameplay each chapter. No, there is actually barely any gameplay in this thing, and they probably last like half an hour at best each, probably an hour the one that is complete. Now, he says that actually what I describe as a prologue is actually a chapter, so that for him is chapter 1, which is so fucking funny because it lasts like 15 minutes or so, and then chapter 3 is unfinished and there is still 2 chapters to do. So let's say chapter 1 lasts like, let's say 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. Chapter 2 it's about, let's say half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, depends, maybe an hour if you are too fucking slow. And then there is chapter 3, which is like, again, like 20 minutes maybe, and it's not finished. And we can expect 2 other chapters in the future, aside from the ending of chapter 3. Let's continue. There is barely any gameplay. There is no joke, only one combat encounter in the entire thing, and a few super easy puzzles that any retard could solve. There is also another part where you have to find some stuff, but the game never even hints at you where to find these things, so that is actually bad game design in my opinion. It's literally a walking simulator. All you do is walk like 99% of the time. This thing is more a visual novel than a game, seriously. It's all about dialogue, it's constant dialogue all the time, and like I said, the writing is terrible, so this is really bad. So you are going to be only doing walking and talking, walking and talking. It's so fucking boring. No joke, I literally was falling asleep. If you dislike walk or walk subjects, if you dislike these agendas in your game, well, this game has some elements to it. I leave it at that, but for a guy that dislikes politics on his stream, probably because he's a leftist, and leftists don't like dissenting opinions, it seems he forgot about that in his visual novel. Some of these scenes and things that happen in the game, and even some of the art style, scream degeneracy to me. This is all you can expect from this piece of shit, seriously, and it's actually that, a fucking piece of shit. If this thing just had released, I would understand, but this has been in this state for 6 years or probably even more, like I said previously. When you're done with the thing, a screen appears that tells you that this is the end of the game and that you should expect more updates, and on that same screen you're given links to his stream, his Discord, and of course his merchandise. So this makes me believe this was an elaborated scam to make people to tune into his stream, and now that he has achieved that, he no longer gives a fuck about the quote-unquote game. I don't think this is ever going to be finished, to be honest, because let's be real here, the quote-unquote game is bare bones. If he added another chapter and finished the second one, this will not improve at all, and it will stay as an actual piece of shit visual novel. Now, let's say he will add more RPG elements, actual combat, actual game mechanics to this thing to make it an actual video game, and he should, if he expects anyone that is not a fanatic or a normie retard to call this thing a game. No joke, this will take him years, seriously, years of work that he clearly hasn't done. So the reality is that there is only 2 options here. Either he farts this half-assed visual novel with another 2 chapters, or he actually puts the effort and makes an actual game. The first option is more likely, and his fanatics will keep saying it's the best thing ever. Seriously, this is why this industry is in fucking shambles, because of the retarded normies that don't belong in gaming. Make no mistake, it's their fault because garbage like this can pass up as a game. All of these stupid quote-unquote experiences, they pass up as games these days. So we end up with a trash visual novel. And the other option is more years of waiting for it to become an actual game. Both are bad news for you guys. I would prefer the later, because at least that means an actual game is coming out at some point. Now, like I said, this could be a very elaborate scam to make you tune to his streams, so he has little incentive to even finish this thing, and that's by design from the beginning, so he can build up an image for a Twitch audience. If this guy was a Blizzard developer, no wonder Blizzard ended up a shitty company. No wonder all Blizzard do is corrupt these days. No wonder why Overwatch went to shit. No wonder why WoW is a dumpster fire. Same with Diablo. We all knew it for a while that Blizzard is an evil company full of mediocre developers, but this also helps as confirmation, as if all the failing Blizzard has been doing for years aren't confirmation enough. Now I am going to leave some of the reviews I have seen in Steam, in discussion topics, on Reddit, etc. so you can see them. I am going to speak about Thor himself in this part of the video. Honestly, the guy always seemed a bit weird, like something was off. Like I said, I never really thought much about him, but it was a feeling, but I could not point out anything, so I never thought much about it. But now that I have done more research about him, I now know why I felt this teeny weird feel. He's fake. That's the reason he's probably faking most of what he's saying or doing. For example, there is some weird things going on about his Twitch career explosion. If you watch his chat, he had like 18k viewers in the morning, but the chat barely moved. It doesn't feel right. Something is off. Now, you need to know that his dad actually worked at Blizzard, and he's the guy from that episode of South Park that is known because of the memes people made about it. So his job at Blizzard comes because of nepotism. His dad basically got the job for him. So you can really expect a lot of honesty from this guy, seriously. Now, about his voice. I don't know, but it sounds fake. And while I can accept that this could be his actual voice, there is these videos that I'm going to show you. One was his actual voice in 2017, and there is another video that he himself uploaded to his channel where he shows how he sounded before. This seems pretty fucking suspicious.
Founder of Pirate Software, how's your show been so far?
It's actually been amazing. It's our first time out here at Denver Comic Con, and there's so many people, and they love the games, so it's been awesome.
So speaking of games, what do you have for us today?
So we have Champions of Breakfast, which is a twin-stick shooter that we made in 24 days from concept to release on Steam. Blew up. It was really, really awesome. And that game is pretty difficult, so if you're into really hard arcade games, that's the kind of thing for you. And the other one is Heartbound, which is a more story-driven RPG. And we've been working on that for about 6 months.
Wait for this. This is awful.
My hot dogs are freshly picked. I'm gonna have to peel it. I'm gonna have to peel my hot dog.
Yeah, that was it, dude.
Every good hot dog needs to be peeled.
I don't know what to think about this, because there has been events in which he has spoken, like in my previous video about him. I put a clip of him in an event and he was talking there. You can hear is his actual streaming voice, but there is a chance that wherever he goes, the events actually set up a microphone for him that sounds like he wants it to sound. I don't know. He says that he went through a second puberty and this is why he sounds like that. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't think that even exists. I searched about it and it shows that it's not actually a thing, that this doesn't even exist. What I did search was that there is a procedure that can be done to change the voices of people. It's called voice masculinization surgery. It's also called laryngoplasty, and apparently you can do something to improve the voice or to make it sound different with a surgery, with this procedure. This is done to people that are quote-unquote transitioning from one gender to the other, you know, those type of guys. So this is a known procedure that can be done. So I suspect that he's not really faking his voice. I suspect that he actually went under any of these surgeries. I suspect that. I don't know 100% if that is the case, but I suspect that. And to be honest, if he did went through that procedure, who gives a fuck? I mean, you can do whatever you want with your body. No one gives a shit. I at least don't care. But what that says to me is that he is insecure and he didn't manifested the authority he wanted to manifest in his surroundings. So he had to go through this procedure to finally be heard, to finally be listened to. He sounds like a guy that has some issues, seriously. But things get worse because this dude is also a furry. Apparently his name on this page that was or is named Furry Affinity, his name was Maldavius, or whatever the fuck it's pronounced. He describes himself as a ferret, so that is something that gives out that this guy is the same guy. He's obviously the same guy. He loves ferrets. There is also an entrance of a wiki that is called Wikifur, which says Maldavius Fig Tree is a furry who lives in the United States. His fursona is a ferret. Maldavius can be found on Second Life as a scripter and artist. He's also found on many other games including Zombie Master, World of Warcraft, EVE Online, He always speaks about his quote-unquote career on EVE Online, Hellgate London, StarCraft. You will know that his father worked on StarCraft, Warcraft 3, Team Fortress 2, and Savage 2. Apparently the guy wanted this entry in the wiki to be removed, so he in this screenshot says, "I would like this removed entirely. I attempted to edit out my information and it keeps being replaced." And they respond some shit to him that he has to say something, whatever the fuck, and he responds back. He puts a link and then he says, "There, now remove me. I do not want any information about myself or anything related to me existing on this wiki." So he's ashamed of his furry past or present or whatever the fuck, probably present. Now, in this game or whatever the fuck is that thing called Second Life, apparently the guy was a griefer of some sorts. He was sanctioned sometimes, I don't know. I don't want to enter into that whole thing, but what I do want to mention is that the guy had a quote-unquote company that dedicated itself to sell furry avatars on this Second Life game or whatever, and these avatars were prone ones, you know what I mean, spicy avatars, and these were made by a girl, an underage girl that was working for him. He had some issues with her, I don't know what happened, but what happened was that apparently he stole her work and sold the work for himself. And I'm going to show you two profiles of this Second Life game. One is from him and he says malware, Maldavius.victory. It's like his biography or whatever the fuck, is like a presentation card or something. And in that card it says partner, and as a partner it shows another person called raccoon.hijinks. And if you go to that profile and if you go to that link, it leads you to another profile of a guy called River, raccoon.hijinks, and it shows that he is the partner of Moldavius.victory. So these two guys are a couple, and these two apparently were the owners of that company that dedicated itself to sell these spicy furry models for this Second Life game. There is this post that is being shared that says, "An important announcement regarding Darksphere Creations. Maldavius Victory, CEO of Darksphere Creations, an avatar company based in SL Second Life, has fired his avatar maker Wingless Emoto and continues to sell her work without compensating her or taking down her work at her request. Instead, he has decided to belittle and berate her over any means he can to anyone listening. The news of this is both shocking and appalling, so all we are working hard to get the word out and advise people not to buy from DSC. Moldavius is taking full profit for Wingless Emoto's hard work and she doesn't want that to continue. Many DSC vendors have already been taken down due to this incident, but there are still some vendors remaining in other regions. Wingless has had no choice but to give her existing avatars out for free in an attempt to snuff out any further profits Maldavius will make. If you can, I'd highly recommend sending her some support. She really needs it right now. Also, please help spread the word." There is also another article that says, "A dark night for Darksphere. Maldavius Victory, notorious for having destroyed builds in the Godbury University sim last summer, like I said, he was a grifter, is in the news again this week after his controversial firing of avatar designer Wingless Emoto. According to reliable sources, Victory held an suspicion-timed staff meeting last Friday morning, a meeting timed for when Wingless Emoto would be asleep and therefore unable to attend. During this meeting, it was determined that the talented avatar creator Emoto was earning too much and should therefore be removed from the staff. The terms of service for Victory's company, Darksphere Creations, were then conveniently changed and Miss Emoto was removed from her position all before she awoke to the news. Wingless Emoto was also accused of quote-unquote sitting on her ass despite the fact that she would have been unable to work for a short period of time due to technical malfunctions. Her remaining avatars and creations continued to sell well throughout this period. generating significant real-life money for the company. Now that Wingless is gone, Maldavius Victory is continuing to sell her avatars, refuses to return her creations, and has ceased paying her the commission they had agreed upon. This isn't the first time that Maldavius Victory has been involved in heated debates over ownership of content creation. Last summer, Victory was contracted to work for Brautigan and Tok Holdings to script their orientation island in North. Then disputes over direction arose between Victory and BNT CEO in Liber Braugatian. Victory insisted on removing his own creation. It is perhaps ironic that the shoe is not on the other foot today, as Victory continues to sell Imoto's designs. Wingless Imoto refuses to be put down by this incident. Others have suggested she formed her own company for quite some time, and she sees this new development as an opportunity to do so. Commenting on Victory's, Imoto said, "I always knew he was an ass, but this is just low, even for him. It remains to be seen how well Victory's Darksphere creations will weather this storm, particularly if public sentiment is roused and consumer boycotts follow." There is some comments on one of these posts that said, "I myself can testify to Maldavius Victory half-ass, shady business deals. During a 4-scene build, he will use freebie scripts and do them poorly, which caused me to fire him after failing to follow through with a contract to teach scripting to 2 of my interns. If I were to be properly refunded for what he had done, it would be close to a sum of 100,000 Ls, whatever the fuck. I think that's the currency of Second Life." He talked about stuff all the time, saying that people would steal his ideas and blah blah, this and that. The guy is a scammer, and that is why I fired him half a year back when he was working as a freelancer scripter. Another comment, "Gods, this guy sounds like he needs a beating. Good Daddy made StarCraft, BFD. StarCraft was boring as hell. So my god, it's Blizzard. Sniff. Grow a pair. Bang him before he does this against to someone else. Life goes on with one less asshat. If one person has such a bad need for control, he needs to get a life off the net, because his matchbox of power will burn up in his face. It's called nature. The bigger, meaner fish will come along and snap him up like a cookie." There is also this screenshot that says, "Maldavius was apparently quite close to this Second Life business partner in real life, at least before he banned her from his sims, destroyed her reputation, and concocted all manner of absolute irreparable lies about her mental health and her status in her profession." Maldavius Victory. "She's also underage, so I reported her." Maldavius Victory. "I know this because I met her in real life. She lives 2 hours from me." He also says, "Rickbell, I had to do what was best for the company. I realize you don't see that, but I'm not the only one who wanted her gone." So he hired an underage girl to do art for him in Second Life and dumped her, reported her account when he got the chance. Good guy. If Dr. Disrespect is a you know what in Shitter's eyes, I can't see how this guy fares better having met in real life with a minor he met in Second Life. For some reason, his words carry an air of authority and people tend to believe in him. 16 years on the grift. So you may think, how do we know it's the same guy? Well, you have some clues. Like I said, he likes ferrets. He also talks about EVE Online, World of Warcraft, StarCraft. Do you remember that I showed you some Second Life profiles? One of those profiles was from his partner called River Raccoon Ijinx. In this bio, we can see that River, it's also called Shage or Shage, whatever the fuck is this name, and says, "Hi, I'm River or Shage. I do a lot of art and come on Second Life to idle around and chat." Why I am mentioning this bio? Because if you go to Heartbound and you watch the credits of Heartbound, you will see that the lead artist of the game is none other than Brady Shage Remmel. Shage, it's his boyfriend. Obviously, Thor is the programmer, writer, and designer. It's the same dude, guys. It's the same. Thor is Maldavius, and his boyfriend is River. It's weird that he hasn't disclosed that his boyfriend is actually working with him on this. Why? Is there some more dirt that could be digged if this was disclosed? Maybe. To think all of this could have stayed buried, but due to his bad take on the Stop Killing Games initiative, then now all of this is being digged out, and who knows how more stuff it's going to come out. The thing is, I didn't took any of his criticism about the initiative seriously or thought they were just excuses. Obviously because he has money in the game and because obviously he's that as a developer, etc. But now, after digging all of this out, I trust him even less. I have zero hopes this video will wake some of his fanatics, because once you enter into the fanatic state, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to pull you out, especially if your entire persona is the result of years of complete stupidization from this system. Honestly, this could be the first piece to fall that starts a chain reaction that will expose all of these planted quote-unquote influencers on every platform. I think most of them are paid actors and are put them exactly to serve the purpose of keeping the population in a mind-controlled state and weak. It is also really funny that he called this girl out about she sitting on her ass all day, while he in the future was going to do even worse. He was going to sit on his ass like 6 or more years with an early access quote-unquote game that actually is a piece of shit because it has no fucking gameplay, it has nothing to do. And now that I think about it, could it be possible that this guy is scared of the Ross Initiative? Because once the government starts regulating these fucking game developers, they could start regulating more stuff like early access games, like Kickstarters, and maybe all of those games that are basically vaporware. Could it be that he is scared of the government involving themselves in the regulation of all of the industry in general? It sounds likely, to be honest, that he's scared of the ramifications of the initiative, which for the consumers would be a good thing, but not so much for the developers that are sitting on their asses for 6 or more years and have done basically nothing or almost nothing. Now, do I recommend this game? Obviously not. It's not an expensive visual novel. It is not expensive, but it is not a game, and what you can get right now is actually a piece of shit. If you go to the Steam page of this game, this piece of shit is categorized as action, adventure, and RPG. This travesty is in no way, shape or form action or RPG. Adventure already is a stretch, seriously, with the current state of this visual novel. And what it actually is doesn't even appear here, which is a visual novel. There is no action and there is no RPG anywhere in this travesty. The final score for this travesty is a 1 out of 10. And only 1 because I liked the graphics and the art style, and maybe a bit of the music. But everything else, what was supposed to be a game, is not a game. The gaming part of this piece of shit is non-existent, so this is what it gets, a fucking 1. And with that being said, that would be all.